Welcome back. You have landed in, on, around, in the vicinity of the You Are Enough.life podcast. And so what I want to do is welcome you to day 21, the victory of faith and the failure of gratitude. I really enjoyed writing this devotional. So, please read both scriptures. There's one in Daniel chapter 3, verse 25 to 29, and Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 18, verses 21 through 35. Today's readings could not paint two more different pictures. In Daniel, we see steadfast surrender and faith right there. In the Matthew reading, boy, does a man who was forgiven a huge debt miss the point. He was forgiven probably 5 lifetimes worth of salary, and he showed zero gratitude and kindness. So before we get into it, I want to ask you, how are you today? How are you landing in this devotional this morning, today, this afternoon, when you read this, watch this, or listen to this? Today is essentially the halfway point in our 40 plus day journey. And the point is to be formed by liturgical or habitual faith and gratitude for who God is, for what He provides, and our daily bread. All of this provided in Jesus, the essentials of our faith. So I just ask you to check in with yourself. Maybe take a deep breath before continuing, and maybe take a deep breath in between the two different readings today. In our Daniel reading today, Daniel was a prime example, a quintessential example of faith and devotion. He was smart, young, what else? And a true believer. He truly believed God would do what He said He would, and that God would rescue him if he were faithful. Daniel had clear boundaries and grounded strength in his faith, and so did his 2 exiled countrymen. So Daniel stood out for his convictions, but he also did a great job at his work. And he was in Babylon, an exiled Jew. He was promoted, and then the king changed the law to force the worship of himself. So that's where Daniel's boundaries came in. And for Daniel, having these beautiful, admirable boundaries, guess what he got? A death sentence. That's right. They are dropped into a furnace heated incredibly hot to be burned alive. And wait for it, it backfires. The first dad joke of the series. You're welcome. Now, the king was so surprised, so impressed. I love this last line in the reading today. They trusted him. They, Daniel and his friends, trusted in him, God, defied the king's command, and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own God. That's a killer quote. The king was so impressed by these young men's faith that he promoted Daniel and his buddies and protected their lives with a royal order, a similar royal order to the one where everyone was supposed to worship the king. They changed a kingdom here with their convictions. In the New Testament today, the story is so simple that an elementary school child could understand it. A man is forgiven an insane level of debt, which Jesus playfully says is 10,000 bags of gold. It's a parable, and Jesus' audience knew this. The point is that he is calling out those of us who get really resentful at others who wrong us and therefore are in debt to us. They owe us an apology, or they owe us several dollars or hundreds of dollars or more, and we just can't let it go. In this parable, assuming that each of the 10,000 bags had 10 ounces of gold, that quantity, that forgiven debt, would be worth $500 million. And this guy goes, the guy forgiven of a $500 million debt, he goes and throws a friend in jail for not paying him back somewhere around $6,000. That just doesn't figure. That is less than 0.1% of the $500 million. The man with the larger debt remained unchanged by the mercy he received. We often do the same. Though we've been forgiven an immeasurable amount, we still live as if the world or other people owe us. Jesus is telling us a timeless story about the absurdity of ego and the poison of an ungrateful heart. But how do we stop being like that first man? That is the purpose of Lent. It's an invitation to fill our ordinary days with the practice of discernment and other spiritual practices. By waking up to our own selfishness and recalibrating toward gratitude now, we learn the language of the Holy Spirit. Then, when the big pressure-packed decision times arrive, that whisper of the Spirit will be a voice we already recognize. And to close, I just want you to remember, God is so good that he would forgive a $500 million debt just because he loves us and he wants to see us live better, live well. In fact, he gave us something even more costly. He gave us his own Son. In the face of that kind of grace, faith and gratitude aren't just nice gestures. It's the only right response. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. If any of this is helpful to you, please do those things, those digital votes, so that a few other people might get access to this content. Please enjoy today's song. You can find the song and previous devotionals, all the things. I'm going to spell it out. URENUF.life. That's youreenough.life. Go to that website and you can click on the Lent logo and you'll drop into all the content. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you tomorrow.